The voice of Husker Nation is on the air. This is Hail Varsity Radio. Insight, opinion, expertise, along with the biggest names talking Nebraska sports. Join in with the show at 402-489-1240 or 1-800-825-5865. Now, here are your hosts, Chris Schmidt and Elijah Herbel.
Welcome to it, Friday edition. It's Hail Varsity. We're powered by Cornhead Lager. Chris Schmidt, Elijah Herbel, as we invite you down here on the road ahead of Nebraska and Indiana, Big Ten tournament time. And when it's tourney time, we are excited to be back down here at Longwells in the rail yard. Of course, they are going to be your capital for St. Paddy's Day festivities. And flip the cap, flip the switch, turn the corner. It's time for a March run. If you're a big Red fan, numbers to get in, 489-1240, 489-1240, 800-825-5865. Can email the show, chris@hailvarsity.com. Can always check us out on the Stream Hail Varsity YouTube channel. I have got a crinky bar table, and I did the old trick. I couldn't find any coasters, so Elijah, I have some paper towels wadded up, but if I move, it moves, so I'm going to back away from the table so we're not going Blair Witch here. How are you? How's your Friday? Glorious weather outside. Rail yard is all sun-soaked. Indiana looms for Nebraska. Wisconsin, Northwestern. Wisconsin looks like, two-seed good Wisconsin. Following that ball game, you're going to have whoever gets to face the winner of Indiana, Nebraska, or I should just say Nebraska, right? You have that thing going when it comes to Ohio State and Illinois a little bit later. But you've made it to the weekend. And the week started with good vibes and good feels. You had Wednesday's news. You've got your permanent AD search that's commencing now that we have our interim AD. You still have your interim president situation. I know it's exhausting, but you can turn your attention to on-court action as a Husker fan with Nebraska and Indiana round 3 tonight.
Yeah, it's a wonderful Friday, Schmidt. It's always great to get to the weekend, and we've had great basketball on today. This is the best way to put this Friday. It's the day where you just hope that it's back to business as usual at Nebraska. And it won't be business as usual without a permanent AD in charge, but you have the interim in place. You have a search for a full-time AD commencing. It's the point in the process where, let's compare it to a relationship. You, as a boyfriend, have broken up with your girlfriend, and Friday is the day where you finally come to terms with it and say, you know what, she's not coming back. It's over. We can't continue thinking about her. It's onward and upward. It
could be sad or it could be celebratory.
Well, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, you've made it through the initial trauma of the breakup. Now it's time to move on, onward and upward. Maybe not find the next person just yet, but it's time to get back to enjoying the normalcy of your life. That's what this Friday is about to me. You got Husker basketball on BTN tonight at 8 o'clock. A chance to move on to the Big Ten semifinal, a place that Nebraska has never reached before. So it's just a chance for us as a state and for this university to return to normal, get back to business as usual. That's what this Friday can be to me. You get the weekend reset ahead of you, and then Monday, it's spring football, it's Matt Rule. You dive headfirst into that, and you hopefully put all this Trev Alberts news behind you. That's what this Friday is to me. It's move on from the ex-girlfriend, return to life as normal.
Well, that's good work. Let's give our starting 5 a shout-out. First 5 in the stream and some other folks. And you're always welcome to check us out on the Hail Varsity YouTube channel. Subscribe and like and watch the show that way. You can also find us on our social media platforms. AM 590 ESPN Omaha's Twitter handle. You can watch the show, rewatch, or get caught up that way. KFOR Facebook and Twitter. As always, follow the Hail Varsity Twitter feed as well at HVarsity Radio. Can contact us, comment that way. And Spotify, iTunes, Google Play is where you download the podcast. At Herbal Essence on Twitter is where you follow Elijah. At Schmidt_radio, my Twitter handle. So Roger is in And Roger just let the world know that he just took Trev's parking space. Good on you. NU Grandpa is in. Anonymous is in. Anonymous says Trev ran away almost as fast as he ran away from Travis Hill's back seat. Okay. God rest Travis Hill, incredible Nebraska defender. KG is in. Brandon is there. He is 3 whiskeys deep in. Let's do this thing. You have Mike checks in. He says, stand the watch. Love it. And Justin is in as well. Dion, what's up, Dion? He's in. The other Brian, he's like, all right, man, it's Optimistic Friday. The milk is spilled again. So what are we going to do? Move the hell on with who's still here, fill in the gaps. We have good people, and bring on UTEP. Celebratory? Yeah, I'm working on the pronunciation part of my career, Brian. Brennan from the Black Hills asks how the ping pong match is going. You have a brother versus an older sister, and I think older sister is ruling. We might even mix in a little ping pong play-by-play. Wow. We have somebody named Osama wanting Elijah to show his bare feet. And while I'm appalled by the suggestion, it's going to take more than $1.99 donation, sir, for that to happen. 489-1240, 800-825-5865. Aaron Donald has retired. Offensive lines around the league have began breathing a sigh of relief. So that's some NFL news. On the show, we'll check in with Jacob Padilla. Jacob is back from Manhattan and his coverage of Creighton as they got knocked off yesterday in the Big East tournament. So there's that. And we'll get Jacob's take on the Big Red. The Pride of Fairbury, Bill Doleman, will be with us at 5. We'll dive into Nebraska-Indiana a little bit further. Clauseborne, he's imaginary. He wears red. We will have Indiana-Nebraska predictions at 5:40. And Claus will have some commentary on the Trev situation. Elijah, did you see?
Oh, I saw. I saw.
You saw. Okay. And do you have an answer?
I mean, I can. I don't think anyone besides that individual really wants that. I guess if
I think you do it for the people, as in,
they did leave a tip, which makes me feel uncomfortable.
I know, and I just said it'd take more than $1.99.
Well, I feel like you're pimping me out here a little bit. Then, if you're asking for more money, you're pimping me out.
I am, but I'm not asking for any cut from you. Okay.
That still is me getting pimped out.
Well, right. Well, hold on. That's you pimping yourself out.
For $10, I'll do it.
10 in a case of warm natty. Greg checks in from Houston, 2.5 hours from A&M. Greg, your weather is decent year-round, I would say. And Wade says too early to put all the blame on Trev. There we go. So let's just spend a minute on social media, because it has been on fire the last 48 hours. Elijah, you alerted me to this tweet about our favorite Kent Pavelka. And refresh for our listeners and our viewers what Kent asked about Trev.
Well, this is hilarious. And this is so Kent Pavelka. Gotta love KP. And just lay it out. This is somebody that I was raised on listening to Kent Pavelka radio calls.
Same.
Love Kent Pavelka. He tweeted at Trev Alberts last night, hey, my son is driving down from Bismarck to Minneapolis, but he really needs a ticket to the Nebraska game tomorrow night. Considering you're not going to need it, Trev, think you could send it our way? And I'm paraphrasing for Kent here, but that was just one of the funniest things I saw yesterday of Kent Pavelka. I don't even think he's trying to come off the top rope, but he absolutely is coming off the top rope with the people's elbow on that one, adding Trev Alberts saying, hey, now that you don't need your ticket, you mind if you send it my way? We'll see. I'm curious to see if Ken actually gets that ticket or not, because Trev has been going on a bit of a social media tour to help his public image within the state of Nebraska. Hasn't been going well for him, but I'd be curious to see if he sends that ticket over.
Well, and that's just it. I mean, him being on social media is one thing, completely fine, but he engaged with Will Compton, and Nebraska fans aren't great with that. He has clapped that LeBlanc got named interim, and that's him just saying, hey, this is a guy that he's known forever. Congratulations, this is the right move. But I mean, his response by the response from the fan base, not everybody, but a lot of them have not been positive. So it's a question of, I wonder if Trev is reading his mean tweets or not. Has he poured a glass of wine and read his mean tweets? Or I hope he just accentuated the positive and is just focused in on all those A&M. So there we go. Let's spend a minute here on the AD spot. And we know some of the names, but I want to go, before we get into basketball, with who you think the first target is. Now, selfishly, there's a lot of us that love and know and are all about Garth Glissman. And that would be a lot of our draft picks. That said, I think the guy that was in play and Trev was hired, I don't want to say instead of, but another choice almost 3 years ago, was Jamie Pollard. And I think that's the name that Nebraska fans need to look at as well. If you're going to get Rule's take and opinion, and you should, you've got Boise's AD and Baylor's AD. Both guys, one hired Rule, the other worked really close with Rule at Boise, Jeremiah. So those are kind of the four names. And I was thinking that, Pollard right now is pushing 60. There's been some health challenges, and he has just thrived and survived and been very, very good at Iowa State. And right now, if you're at Iowa State, what are you? You're in the Big 12, and then you wait till this next round of conference reshuffling when it comes to who gets poached potentially from the Big 12. And when it comes to this super conference of 40-plus teams or 48 teams, or the college version of the NFC and the AFC, is Iowa State going to be found in those 48 to 60 teams? I don't think so. As good as their basketball is, and their football's been non-awful, but been a far cry from the COVID 10-2 year, Jamie Pollard, is it time for him to jump ship? I think there are powers that be in Nebraska with influence that really like Jamie Pollard, and that's going to be their candidate they push.
My question with this hiring process right now, let's bring it back to the breakup analogy that I used to lead off this show. Is this person you find a rebound, or is this actually well fleshed out? And you know what I'm talking about whenever I say a rebound. That person that you're looking for quickly just to fill the void. That's what Nebraska wants to avoid in this time. Like, there's been public embarrassment this week for Nebraska. There has been the unveiling of the curtain to some of the systematic issues with the Board of Regents and the president's office and the governor's office. The worry is that you make that hire quick, that rebound hire to save face and just to fill the void. That might not be the best idea. Some of the worst relationship matches I've ever seen in my life among my friends have been that rebound type match where you're the person you were dating for 8 months broke up with you, and now 2 weeks later you found somebody else, and she is the worst person I've ever met in my life, but you're looking past all that because you want someone to fill the void. I'm not going to name any names among my friends. If they're listening, you probably know who you are because you're no longer together with that person. It flames out quickly. It's not the best match, but you do it just because you need somebody to fill the void. That's what my concern is with Nebraska if they try to move quickly with this hire. Is it actually going to be well fleshed out, or are you trying to find somebody to fill the void, to save face, and to show the Husker fans, no, it's not as bad behind the scenes as it's been made out to be this week. Look, we were able to come together and find this great hire. That worries me. Like, I want to make sure Nebraska has taken the time to fully fix some of the issues within the leadership of this university before you jump to a snap hire to show everybody that it's not as bad as it seems. That's where I get concerned with this hire. And can a rebound be all right? Sure, but more times than not, it isn't. And I just hope that Nebraska doesn't try to quickly remedy all the issues right now and just save face by shoving somebody up there in front of a podium and saying, hey, welcome our new athletic director who we hired 4 days after Trev left to make sure we have somebody in power. I get really concerned if that's the case for Nebraska.
Well, you need to be quick, but not hurry, right? The old sports saying. So get your feelers out there and move forward. You've got an interim. You've got spring football. You've got coaches that are quite capable on the baseball diamond, on the softball field, on the hardwood with Fred and Amy and Matt Rule with spring football. Coaches are going to do their job right now, but at some point get their input on who they'd like to work for, right? Back here for some March Madness at Longwells as we are here. The morning hookup watch party starts at 6. It's Hale Varsity on the road here in the rail yard at Longwells.
Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. Comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief at the Good Feet store. Visit the store for a free test walk at 27th and Pine Lake Road across from South Point Mall near PetSmart or at goodfeet.com.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
You want rock-solid results. That's why men insist on Limitless Male. Whether it's low testosterone causing your symptoms or something else, Limitless Male will find the root cause and recommend a treatment plan that works. Do you have low energy, muscle loss, belly fat, brain fog, low libido, hair loss? Find out why. See the experts in men's health. Schedule your free consult at limitlessmale.com. Insurance accepted.
Stay alert for scams. LES wants you to be aware of a recent uptick in scams targeting electric customers. If you receive a call, email, or text that seems suspicious, do not provide your personal or financial information. Instead, call LES or verify your account information online. LES will not contact you via phone, threatening to disconnect service or asking for immediate payment. Learn more tips to stay safe at les.com/scams. Hey, it's Jill St. James for Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Nebraska weather is extreme. 70s one day, 20 the next. And your old drafty windows just can't keep up. Replace them with triple pane vinyl windows from Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Stop by their booth at the Husker Lawn and Leisure Show, March 15th through the 17th. Ask Gary and Tracy about their 10% show discount. You can buy more expensive windows from a bigger company, but you can't buy better windows from a better company than Heartland of Nebraska Windows.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Mom, Dad.
Before you throw out those unused medicines, just think for a minute.
Grandma, Grandpa, all you guys take meds. That's why you gotta dispose of your old pills correctly.
Those pills for your back pain or migraines.
When you throw them in the trash, those medicines can become lethal in the wrong hands. Our hands. You may be finished with that medicine,
but those pills are making me real popular at school.
My brother James could think they're candy. Our dog loves to get in the garbage, and those meds can make him sick or worse. So stop. There are better ways to dispose of your unused meds.
There are lots of police stations, local pharmacies, and hospitals that are approved to take in unused meds and dispose of them safely.
Disposal sites are close by.
It's easy, and it's the right thing to do. For us. The ones you love.
To find a medicine disposal
And now, back to Hale Varsity Radio.
Thanks for hanging out. Hale Varsity Road Show here ahead of Nebraska-Indiana. We're in the rail yard, right across from PBA and Longwell's. Of course, Cube is going, and you have all sorts of refreshment options here at Longwell's, plus the Jumbotron TVs. Not a bad seat. We invite you down in front of the morning hookup watch party with Bill Hooks and Will Wilson. That gets going. Jacob Padilla is back in town. Jacob, good to see you. We'll get your thoughts here on Creighton in just a second. I want to get your take, though. Do you have any good pizza the last 48 hours?
Not pizza. We just kind of ate just the closest place we could get yesterday, and then ate the medium meal. Today we just kind of went downtown Jersey City and found a bar and just got a burger there. So
Okay.
we're in Jersey City. We're not actually in like staying in New York, so there's not a whole lot of options around us. Kind of have to Uber anywhere to get to places. So been limited options, but it's been a good trip.
Jacob Padilla with us here on Hail Varsity Radio as Jacob welcomes us to the bed of his hotel room. Jacob, we appreciate having us in such an intimate moment. You tweeted about your Uber ride through Hell's Kitchen yesterday. This is not Gordon Ramsay Hell's Kitchen. This is the neighborhood Hell's Kitchen. Tell us about that. I guess I can just leave it up to you here with this Uber ride through Hell's Kitchen.
No, it was just kind of interesting. The music, it was just on kind of an old hits station. So we got some Backstreet Boys. I think we got some Britney Spears was kind of the last song that we heard when we got dropped off. So yeah, just kind of not a whole lot of current music playing from the front of the car, but it was all right. A lot of traffic trying to get back after the game. It took us a while, but that's what it is in New York.
Well, one of Brittany's hits apparently hit me one more time. Nebraska hit with the Trev Alberts. What's your take on this before we go basketball? I'm interested. You've covered Nebraska athletics for a while as well, and Shockwave. I got to get your opinion on it.
Yeah, I was actually on the morning show with Damon and Ravi when that news dropped, and kind of like Ravi had to cut into it. It's like, guys, we got to acknowledge this, and I believe my response was kind of, wow, what? It was kind of out of nowhere, and it certainly isn't encouraging about the state of things to where you lose someone that I think collectively people around here felt pretty good about the job that he was doing and the direction. And obviously we heard from Matt Rule and how important the leadership with Ted Carter and Trev Alberts were to him coming here, and some of we heard from John Cook just the work that Carter and Alberts and everybody did to make Volleyball Day in Nebraska happen, and just seemed like those two had garnered a lot of respect from the people in the athletic department and around the university. So to have them both gone within the last half year or so definitely doesn't give you a good feeling, and especially when I don't think anybody considered something like this as a possibility, really, that because of where Nebraska was in the Big Ten, you're in one of the two kind of power conferences. You felt like you'd be safe from getting your talent pilfered, at least your top end talent, because there isn't really a clear upgrade in some of these positions. Like you're taking generally a lateral type of move to take another position, and that's kind of like, I mean, Texas A&M and the SEC versus Nebraska and the Big Ten. Like, I mean, I don't know that you set yourself up that much better going to Texas A&M, and then in turn leads you to the questions of why and what ultimately pushed him out the door. And he's given his interview and kind of given his answers and pointed to some of that. Kind of the interesting thing there is I don't know that like Texas A&M is going to be smooth sailing for him. That's kind of the most interesting part of this, because there's a whole lot going on down there that kind of is comparable to the issues that he may have ran into while trying to run this program. So I don't know. I guess we'll have to see kind of what moves they can make to fill the openings, but it certainly doesn't leave you, if you're a Nebraska fan, feeling comfortable and confident about the state of things.
Jacob, let's talk Creighton. They were bounced in round one. Reaction to that, need a thought on where you think this puts them seed-wise, if it dumps them down, or you think they still hold on to that 4-5 range?
It seems like they're still on the 3 line. I think Lenardi on his latest update had them at the 10th overall spot. So the 2nd to 3 seed there. So they're still hanging in there. Ultimately, it's more of a disappointing result just based on they really wanted this. They thought they had a team that could go get it done because it's something that Creighton has never done. Win the Big East tournament. They've gotten to the final a few times, but haven't been able to, in Greg McDermott's words, knock down the door. And so going in, the way they've been playing down the stretch, I think they were confident about their chances. They thought they could get it done, and then just come out and don't play well. And it kind of looked like some of their previous losses where the other team got really physical, got really disruptive in terms of keeping them out of their sets and not allowing them to get into an offensive rhythm. And then they just couldn't throw the ball in the ocean. And we've seen some stretches this season where it's like that, where they just can't hit threes. And the way the other team was defending them, they needed to hit threes because they weren't able to execute the other stuff consistently enough. So you just got to hope that over the last 3 halves of basketball, after the 8 for 11 start from 3 against Villanova, they've been pretty much ice cold. And you kind of hope now as you get into the tournament for some regression to the mean there, and hopefully it'll hit in time for them to make a run and not after it cost them. But so it's disappointing. I certainly would have liked to get more out of this trip than going one and done. But I know those guys are more disappointed than I am.
Jacob, was the loss a warning sign for the NCAA tournament, or is it more of a wake-up call?
Yeah, I don't think it's anything new. I think we've seen a few games like this throughout the season, so I don't know that it's something where they learned something about themselves that they didn't already know, or it's something completely out of the blue. We've seen a few games this year where, like St. John's, that first UConn game, where teams have been able to really get up, be disruptive, and Creighton hasn't been able to make up for it with hot shooting. So I think that's something that they already knew was there and is something they're going to have to deal with and hope that doesn't cost them. But yeah, it's certainly, again, after the run that they had been on, it felt like they had kind of gotten through some of that, especially like the way they came back and handled UConn the second time after seeing them the first. Kind of give you some confidence that, all right, they've kind of figured it out now. I think probably the big thing that, if you're looking at things like red flags or whatever and things that you need to see improve, it's Stephen Ashworth's performance. Because I think once he settled in and really got it going, that's when Creighton looked its best, and that's when they kind of turned that corner. Like, he was phenomenal in that UConn game, and had a long stretch there where he was playing really well, shooting the ball well. Since that UConn game, he's been ice cold, and it's kind of hurt them to not have that aspect of it, because teams are going to load up on Trey, they're going to load up on Baylor, and they're going to do what they can to keep the ball out of the paint with Kalkbrenner. So he's often the guy that's going to be getting some good looks, and if he can knock him down, then that completely changes the way that teams have to defend them. So I think he's really the key as we head into postseason here, is need him to start playing like the guy that we saw kind of the midseason when they turned it around, as opposed to the last couple of games.
Jacob Padilla is with us, Hail Varsity, Hurrdat Sports. Find him on Twitter at Jacob Padilla _. He is in Jersey City, New Jersey, was covering the Big East tournament for Creighton. Any Jamarcus Lawrence jerseys running around. Jacob, thoughts on Nebraska-Indiana tonight?
Yeah, I have not seen any CJ Wilcher, Jamarcus Lawrence, any of those guys represented here. I'm sure people close with them are up there in Minneapolis, so instead of back here at home. But yeah, they've got a pretty darn good opportunity in front of themselves. Going to sit back and watch for the first 2 days of the tournament, and now you get a team in Indiana that they've already beaten twice. They know they're a better team then, and obviously you've got the Khalil Ware matchup that is problematic and has given them issues, but overall, Like they need more than just that to win. So, and they didn't exactly play super well against Penn State. Like that was an ugly one. So it's not like they're coming in as a buzzsaw. So I think the question is, can Nebraska, as long as they kind of weather the storm early on, a lot of times teams that have been sitting, there's a little bit of rust you got to work off while the other team is kind of been able to find a rhythm. They're lathered up, and then maybe down the stretch is when kind of flips the other way. But you have to play well enough. You can't dig yourself a hole early on. So they got to come out, make sure they're playing sharp basketball. And we've seen a few times this season where that slipped, where they haven't done the little things that they've gotten so good at, where the rebounding and taking care of the ball and all that type of stuff. As long as they do that, they're locked in on that stuff. I think they'll be able to get a win here and be able to advance and get a crack at one of the other big teams.
Jacob, last thought here, about 60 seconds. You hear it in football all the time, hard to beat a team twice. You hear it in basketball too. This week you've heard hard to beat a team 3 times if Indiana was the foe. Well, Indiana is the foe. Is there any truth to that in basketball, beating a team twice or 3 times in a season? Does it become more difficult?
It depends on the talent levels. If it's a bad team, then you should be able to keep beating them. If the teams are pretty close, then that's where things that went your way might flip and go the other way in the other one. So we've seen these first 2 games, double-digit wins for Nebraska. So I don't know that I'd be terrified of playing Indiana a 3rd time because it is a team that Nebraska has been able to handle.
Jacob Padilla, he is in New Jersey covering the Big East tournament. He'll have his eyes and reaction, of course, on Nebraska, how their tournament run goes, and a big day Sunday, selection Sunday for Creighton for Nebraska, the men's and women's team. And follow Jacob with all the info at Jacob Padilla _ with Hail Varsity and Hurrdat Sports. Jacob, thanks for squeezing some time in with us as you're on the road, bud. Safe travels, and thanks for hopping on.
Yep, no problem. Thanks, guys.
There he is, Jacob Padilla. As we have our friends in the stream, I think Brian said, look, is he at his hotel room or is that a hostage situation? NASCAR Eric has a vote for the Board of Regents. It's Elijah Herbel. And we have had no more feet picture requests. That is a positive.
Yet.
Still not here at Longwell's. Hail Varsity continues, powered by Cornhead Lager.
Your home for Kansas City Chiefs football, Lincoln Salt Dogs baseball, and local high school sports. Local and regional coverage can be heard right here on KFOR, FM 101.5, 1240 AM, and KFORnow.com.
Outdoor enthusiasts, AC Nelson will be at the Husker Lawn and Leisure Show this weekend at the new Sand Hills Global Events Center. Explore a variety of new travel trailers with payments starting at $149 a month up to $349. That's with no money down and no payments till summer. Plus, for this show only, receive exclusive factory rebate vouchers. Start your vacations tomorrow without breaking the bank. See AC Nelson RV World at the Husker Lawn and Leisure Show this weekend. WAC.
Got your very own handyman to help remodel your home.
I can't find a vanity. There's absolutely nothing that I like.
Rob, after months of searching, who helped you find your dream vanity?
A friend of mine, his dad is a contractor. I called him one day. He said, have you tried Handyman? I didn't know that it was open to the public. I honestly thought it was more for contractors. I didn't know if that was the store you could just walk into. I went down there, and within the first 10 minutes, I pretty much had a vanity picked out, and I was sold on it, but I didn't like the top. The manager pulls the top off, and he ends up grabbing another top of one that I did like and sliding it in there. It was better than I could have imagined. I was just super excited and happy to have found him and Handyman. It just all came together super fast. Handyman's a good place to start your bathroom remodel. I definitely wish I would have started there.
For the very best in bathrooms, come to Handyman.
Handyman.
Under the arch on Sun Valley Boulevard, Lincoln.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street, family owned and operated, always the best value.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit,
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
Hey, it's Philip and Will Wilson from the Morning Hookup. Coming up on a Monday.
And now, back to Hail Varsity Radio.
Thanks for hanging out. Hail Varsity Roadshow Friday. Roadshow Friday here at Longwell's in the rail yard right across from PBA. Watch party tonight, Nebraska-Indiana, for a chance to take on the next game, which is going to be Ohio State-Illinois. Any preference, Elijah? You're 1-1 against Ohio State. If you're Nebraska basketball, you lost a heartbreaker, played probably your best game of the year on the road, despite it being a loss. And I know that's weird to say, but you gave Illinois everything. That's the first glimpse we saw of locked-in Nebraska. You saw more of PBA Nebraska on the road against Illinois for a longer spurt that included overtime. And, you know, I would like to see, just from a weight
Schmidt, we can't hear you. Oh, no. There, he's back. He's back. We lost you for a second. Go back about 10 seconds and reset your point. You're making some fantastic point.
No, allegedly. No, who do you want to see? Do you want to see Illinois, assuming Nebraska wins tonight? You want to see Illinois, or do you want to see Ohio State tonight? Your record's 1-1 against the Buckeyes. They are fighting for their life. Illinois is in. They're one of the top spots in the Big Ten. They're probably the second highest seeded team we'll see Sunday on Selection Sunday from the Big Ten. But give me Illinois. I mean, Nebraska really looked like a different team in Champaign. As good as they've played across the street here at PBA, they looked really high level against Illinois, and it just didn't come to fruition. That 10-0 spurt with the final 2 minutes to force overtime, that's a game Nebraska fans are still ticked off about from an officiating standpoint. It was really a tough go of it, and Nebraska played well. First things first, I know Indiana. Let's get to concern level there before you answer that question about Illinois. You got to eat what's on our plate first. This is the matchup I wanted. I didn't want to see Penn State. I really think that, and Jacob hit on it, Ware's going to get his. 20-17 is what he's averaging against Nebraska. But think of Nebraska's guard play against Indiana this year in a 16 and a 15-point win. You've had really nice nights by Bryce Williams each time he's played the Hoosiers. Been very efficient. You've had Jamarcus Lawrence really come alive, play some of his better basketball twice against Indiana. And Kisei's averaged 20. Now, I know Rink has not had the most efficient nights in the paint against Ware. He's matched up well physically, though, against Indiana's inside game. They're going to high and low you to death. Indiana's shot okay from three. Nebraska shot about 40%. Nebraska should win the ball game tonight. Vegas says Big Red favored by 3.5. But that third time the charm is tough.
Third time the charm is tough, but I think Nebraska has the advantage on Indiana matchup 1 through 4. I think Indiana's got the guy at 5. Ware is unfortunately a guy that Rink Mass does not match up well with. But the thing is if Indiana wants to get a win tonight, they need better defense from their guards, which you saw for maybe 5 minutes at Assembly Hall. So I think it's tough. Nebraska's got a tough group of guards to go out and to defend, and they're deep there. Ware needs to have something like a 30-15 plus 5 blocks kind of game, I think, to keep Indiana. The problem, he's capable of doing that. I think whenever Indiana made it a part of their game plan to really implement him, get him going with the lobs, get him going down low against Rink, he does do well against Nebraska. I think he's got that in him. I think that's a really tough pull to ask from a guy like that, in my opinion, is probably likely headed to the transfer portal this offseason. This might be his final game as a Hoosier. I don't have any inside information there. Just based on how this season's gone for Indiana and what the future looks like, I'd be surprised to see that guy back in an Indiana uniform. A lot of teams from around the country that are playing in Sweet 16s and Elite 8s every single year would want to have a guy like Ware. So I think it might be a question of how does his Indiana career end tonight. We'll see. Nebraska has to get the win for tonight to be the end of his Indiana career, though. I think Nebraska's got the advantage tonight. They just got to play like you expect them to, and there's no nerves, there's no rust. The rest versus rust discussion, I think, is more important tonight than can you go beat a team 3 times. Nebraska's got it in them. They're the more talented team. I look at Illinois and Ohio State, though. That's where I think things are really, really interesting to me. In terms of the team, I think you have a better chance of beating it's Ohio State. I know Ohio State's been playing really well. They're hot. They're be coming off of 2 games in 2 days, and you'll have the legs on them in all likelihood tomorrow whenever you get Ohio State. I like how that matches up for them, and I also think that Nebraska has no answer, as with much of the country, with Terrence Shannon. Terrence Shannon Jr. scares me, not just with his legal troubles, but with how he plays on the court as well. That dude is a baller. He is a scary, scary matchup problem. I don't want to face Terrence Shannon Jr. I do think Nebraska played well against him last time around. Would they be able to keep that up? Who knows? It's Terrence Shannon Jr. is just a guy that you can't really keep down. So I'd rather see Ohio State tomorrow because of the likely hit that playing 3 games in 3 days would have on their legs, in addition to the fact that for all the magic they've had this season, they're just not as good a basketball team as Nebraska. I can't say the same about Illinois. Illinois is talented 1 through 5. You got Damask, you got Hawkins, everyone's least favorite player in the Big Ten, and then you have Terrence Shannon Jr. Those are hard 3 dudes to keep contained. So I'll take Ohio State over Illinois if it's up to me. If I get to pick who Nebraska plays tomorrow, give me Ohio State.
You know, I just don't like Ohio State's size and athleticism in the paint. The way they rim protected. I mean, I think that was one of Rink's worst games. And
but my point here, like, Nebraska played much better on the road against Illinois than they did against Ohio State, and both those games ended up being close losses. I think talent-wise, Nebraska is better than Ohio State. I'm not sure I can say that about Illinois. And if you're talking about Big Ten championships, sure, the motivation is there for Illinois with how that first one ended. But from a talent point of view, Nebraska matches up better, and I think has a better chance of beating Ohio State.
And Rink's an interesting split because he went for his career high at PBA with 6 threes against Ohio State. They responded to him and defended him much, much better in Columbus. Rink was would make that 8 of 21, but 4 of 9 from 3 against Illinois. And I know we're going cart before the horse here with Indiana tonight. We'll have our predictions here in about an hour. Steak and a beer bet, Friday forecast. Clauseborne will be with us with some commentary. His reaction to Trev's departure to A&M. Buckle up for that. And then we'll get everyone's thoughts here on Nebraska and Indiana tonight. We have found him. Cotter Clark is on spring break. Cotter Clark will not be available to us for whatever reason via video.
Wi-Fi issues. He doesn't have Wi-Fi down there in the hotel, so he's on cellular, so the phone works better. I fully believe that. Or he doesn't want to show that he's in a jail cell. One of the two.
You know, maybe he's protecting the folks he's rooming with. You know what I mean?
Well, I also understand not having a consistent Wi-Fi source. That is tends to be a problem with video streaming.
Alleged. So we'll wind down this first hour. You're invited down to Longwell's at Hale Varsity.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential. But finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Trust is a foundation of any strong relationship. It's earned every day.
At 1011, it's the way we cover the community we call home.
Working hard to fact check, verify, and get the story right.
It means alerting you first to severe weather and preparing for what's ahead.
It's telling the stories that bring us together and make us proud to be Nebraskan.
Trust Cole Miller, Madison Pitch, Chief Meteorologist Ken Shemick, and Sports Director Kevin Suits. The most watched, the most trusted. That's 1011.
I'm bored.
Me too.
Let's go on an adventure at Bright Lights.
I want to see wild animals.
I want to go to Hogwarts. At Bright Lights Summer Camps for elementary and middle school students, you can choose your own adventure.
That sounds awesome.
Let's head over to brightlights.org to see all the camps to choose from. We'll sign up when registration opens.
Registration is open now to participate in half or full day camps. Before care and lunch options are also available.
I'll tell my friends to sign up to Bright Lights too. Be sure to tell them it's brightlights.org.
Quality and affordability on your next window and door project is what you can expect when working with Pella of Omaha and Lincoln. There's no reason to wait. Call your local showroom and mention this ad to receive a $100 gift card following your in-home consultation.
Ooma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very
calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
Whether you're buying or selling your first home or your third, let Rich Rodenberg from Coldwell Banker NH.
Hail Varsity Radio is live. Now, back to Schmitty.
Schmitty's a great guy, but he don't have a brain.
And Elijah.
You want me to speak? When I point at you, yeah.
On Hail Varsity Radio.
Back with you, winding down hour one. Hail Varsity here at Longwells across from PBA in the rail yard. Bill Hooks is here. He's wearing his big old red Nebraska sweatshirt. He's got his Herbie Husker basketball hat on. If you're in the stream, you can see the shoulder that Hooksy would shoot that right-handed hook shot over and in. Pre-game going for Ohio State, Illinois. That'll be on down here. That is Nebraska's future opponent, assuming things go well tonight. 489-1240 to get in. 800-825-5865. And you want to do the check-in via the stream, you're welcome to. Hail Varsity YouTube channel.
Do you want to see my feet? You're welcome to do that.
No, I do not want to
channel.
see your feet. And if we get more requests for that,
we're
make sure it's Rex.
Banning people.
Well, actually, we will parlay it into a weekly interview with Rex Ryan.
Oh,
at least to talk some NFL. Small price to pay for you, Elijah.
It's the shoes off segment with Rex Ryan.
The shoes, yeah, well, that's it. That's how it's titled and sponsored. So we've seen a lot of interesting internet artwork the last 48 hours, 72 hours with the Trev departure. I'm going to hold up the latest picture sent, and it has to do with Herbie and Trev again. If you're on the stream, you can see it. It is Julius Caesar and Brutus
We've gone full ghetto here.
Yes, we have. I'm sorry. I don't know how to send it to you.
Schmidt's showing memes off his phone. That's the point we've reached in the week.
But you've got Herbie smiling. And here comes a serious-looking Trip. And then there's the old knife ready to be plunged.
What are we doing here? We call ourselves professionals, and then Schmidt pulls up a meme off his phone and just holds it up to his laptop camera.
Well, it's for the folks in the stream. And the folks...
That's too good. Now Schmidt's getting in emails, I'm sure.
I am. So Todd wants to know with Husker baseball today, what time we go goodbye on 590. I would say 5:30.
I believe
so. Todd, if you want to catch the show, the YouTube on your phone, Hail Varsity YouTube. We can maybe even send you a link. The Hail Varsity Radio Twitter, and we'll still be streaming on AM 590 ESPN Omaha on the Twitter handle there.
And one thing to note with Husker baseball here, we're not going to spend all that much time on Husker baseball today. They got the 3-game weekend series against Nichols State, if I remember correctly. The big thing to watch for with this Husker baseball team, it's one of the things we talked about with Jabba on the new episode of the Triple Play podcast. Go check that out wherever you get podcasts. Jabba Chamberlain along with Chris Schmidt and myself. This Husker baseball team is well balanced. We haven't seen them put it all together. One of the things you got to watch for is the starting pitching rotation. Who's going to lock down a Friday night spot? Who's going to be Saturday? This weekend, you got Christo going Friday, Sears on Saturday, Ty Horn on Sunday. Those are your guys. Can this Husker baseball team, before the Big Ten play starts at the end of the month, lock down a consistent starting 3 in that weekend rotation with the roles clearly defined? They're not quite there yet. That's something to watch for, not just this weekend, but over the next couple of weekends.
Longwell's right now is where we're at, getting you ready for the Madness Nebraska-Indiana watch party tonight. A week from today, we are at the Ameristar Casino in Council Bluffs with our friends at Penn Sports. Hour 2 on the way. Bill Doleman checks in with Hail Varsity.
Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? Hi, this is Dr. K with Lincoln Weight Loss, and I know the secret. Our unique weight loss program makes it easy to lose weight, get healthy, and get your energy back naturally, safely, and effectively. If you'd like to lose unhealthy fat without counting points or calories, no exercising, no prepackaged meals, no drugs, no surgery, and no injections with risk of serious side effects, call 402-520-8170.
Hey, it's Schmidt here, and if you've seen me lately, I've dropped a few lbs, and everyone's asking me how. I'm here to tell you how. It's Lincoln Weight Loss. I've been trying to drop a bit of extra weight for a while, but just couldn't get there until I found Lincoln Weight Loss.
Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in a month or two. For your free consultation, call 402-520-8170 or online at lincolnweightloss.com. That's lincolnweightloss.com.
Sandals Global is hiring. We're growing fast and looking for talent in sales, marketing, software development, web design, traveling support, and more. Our field is fast-paced and ever-evolving. We have hundreds of new openings, so whether you're a seasoned professional or just starting out, we have a place for you. Embrace work-life balance with a 4.5-day work week for full-time roles. Plus, we offer flexible internships in most areas, perfect for those still in school and looking for real-world experience. Join the Sandhills team and be part of a culture where dedication, innovation, and growth are part of the game plan. Visit sandhills.jobs now. Sandhills Global. If you've got the drive, we've got the opportunity.
Certified Transmission built its reputation on the job done right. It means hard work, honesty, and integrity.
And together, we ensure our customers leave satisfied and worry-free.
Certified Transmission, the job done right at the right price.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey.
Celebrating 100 years of serving East Central Nebraska. This is FM 101.5, 1240 AM KFOR, Lincoln.
from ABC News. I'm Daria Albinger. Fulton County, Georgia DA Fonnie Willis says the racketeering case against former President Trump and more than a dozen co-defendants will proceed, but without a key member of the prosecution. Nathan Wade resigned from the case over a past relationship he had with Willis.
The resignation was a response to an ultimatum from Judge Scott McAfee, who said the DA and her team member appear to have testified untruthfully about the timing of their relationship. If Nathan Wade were kept on the case, Judge McAfee said Fonnie Willis would be disqualified. McAfee determined that dismissing the charges against Donald Trump and his co-defendants would not have been the appropriate remedy. Defense attorneys in the case say they respectfully disagree.
ABC's Stephen Portnoy in Washington. A New York judge has delayed Mr. Trump's hush money trial for 30 days to allow the defense to review some recently obtained evidence. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's approved plans for a military operation in Rafah, the southernmost city in Gaza. He says it includes evacuating nearly 1.5 million civilians who were there to other parts of the territory where they would be cared for by humanitarian groups.
Israel is trying to let in more aid. They say, the NGOs say it's not really working. Israel is blaming the NGOs, including the UN, for failing to distribute the aid once it's there. There's a lot of finger pointing right now, but what is clear is that most of these Palestinians who are living there are not getting the sustenance they need, which is why the UN says over 500,000 people could be facing famine.
ABC's Matt Gutman in Jerusalem. President Biden went to Capitol Hill today for a St. Patrick's Day tradition to attend the Friends of Ireland luncheon.
No matter how much we debate, no matter how much we disagree, we always have been able to come together as Friends of Ireland.
Speaker Mike Johnson hosted the event, which was also attended by the Irish Taoiseach, Leo Varadkar. You're listening to ABC News.
Imagine it's the final game of the season, but your symptoms of irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, are making a comeback. What should you do? Keep managing your constipation with belly pain the same old way? Or try getting ahead of your symptoms by talking to your doctor about Linzess, linaclotide. Linzess is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually.
Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling.
Imagine, what could relief from IBS-C mean for you? Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
A second arrest from a weekend assault. Hello, I'm Will Wilson, KFOR News. It's 56 degrees in Lincoln. Lincoln police have made a second arrest in last Saturday morning stabbing outside of Little Risky Bar and Grill off of Blair Avenue and Superior Street. Arrest record showed 25-year-old Elazar Morales was arrested on Thursday and faces a charge of first-degree assault and 1 count of use of a deadly weapon to commit a felony. Morales is due to be arraigned in court this afternoon. Police weren't able to give an update on the 36-year-old victim's condition as of Friday morning, but the man is expected to survive. While investigating at the bar, police said that 38-year-old Joel Martinez was identified as a participant in the attack. He's accused of helping Morales. A 22-year-old woman was out walking her dog near 46th and Prescott late Thursday night when an unknown man approached and apparently grabbed her arm.
She said she did not hear him approach as she had her earbuds in. She was not injured.
Lincoln Police Captain Todd Cutzian says the woman said the man is described as Hispanic, about 5'6", 160 pounds, dark hair with a goatee, about 25 to 30 years old, wearing a blue jacket, black jeans, and black shoes. If you have information about this, call Lincoln Police at 402-441-6000 or Crime Stoppers at 402-475-3600. Lincoln Police are investigating another burglary reported early Wednesday morning at Generation V off of 48th and Old Cheney, where someone broke in and took off with about $300 worth of vaping products.
The owner had received an alarm notification and upon checking the security cameras observed a male in a white and black jacket, khaki pants, and gray shoes use a brick to shatter a window.
Damage to the display case is at $2,200. So far, no arrests have been made. St. Patrick's Day is Sunday, and Lincoln Police will be doing extra enforcement, focusing on impaired drivers and alcohol sales at establishments across the city. The extra enforcement is being funded through the Nebraska Department of Transportation Highway Safety Office. Mostly clear tonight with a low near 39. I'm Will Wilson, KFOR News.
Have you
You heard the news today?
Georgia DA Fonnie Willis can move forward in Trump's election case, but she'll need to remove Nathan Wade from her team. Another judge turns down Trump's request to toss out his classified documents case. Shockwaves after Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer demands a new presidential election in Israel.
You'll know everything when you stay connected.
FM 101.5, 1240 AM, KFOR.
Keep up with the local news, sports, your favorite talk shows, and pro shows on KFOR wherever you roam. Stream us 24/7 at KFORnow.com or on your mobile. You can download the free iHeart or TuneIn app and stream KFOR on the go.
The following is a paid program. Content is provided by Hurrdat Media and may contain. He's the pride of Fairbury, an average Joe. Bill Doleman, the professor.
I had a 6 ACT in 1967. One time I got an A and my grandma beat me for cheating.
Now with Hail Varsity Radio.
Thanks for hanging out down here at Longwell's Roadshow Friday as we get ready for Nebraska-Indiana in the rail yard right across from PBA in Lincoln. Little programming note, next Thursday as we get the madness underway, we'll be in Gretna at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. 4 to 6 next Thursday. We'll be at Ameristar Sports Casino in Council Bluffs as we get rocking and rolling with our friends from Penn Sports a week from today. Bill Doleman, pride of Fairbury, NBC Sports. The professor is with us. Billy D, spring break is winding down. How are you? It's great to talk to you. There's been a little less upheaval since we had DEFCON 2 on Wednesday. How's the rest of your spring break gone?
I'm guessing that there have been more adult beverages consumed in Lincoln the past couple of days than there had been at spring break in Florida.
Ooh, that is. I mean, it's not quite the shot counter at the College World Series, but that's a great question. Has Nebraska rivaled most of your normal spring break hotspots and alcohol consumption since Wednesday?
Yeah, instead of having quarter draws or whatever there are, at Penrod's, they're probably trying to see if some athletic administrator at one of the Florida schools might step down and see how that does for sales on the beach, especially when the weather's been kind of chilly in Florida. But it has been a little quieter down my way than it has been in Lincoln the last few days.
Just a bit. I got to ask you, as Elijah and I started the show off, I want to get your take as we've I've got some names here, and we appreciate Larry the Cable Guy retweeting Danny Burke's list from Burke's Best Bets yesterday. We had our normal gambling segment with Danny yesterday, and what was really cool on that is that, Larry's made the list. Garth is on the list at plus 300. John Cook at plus 650. Bruce Rasmussen plus 1,000. Imagine saying no to Ndamukong Suh if you're a coach or a potential friend of the program donor. Suh at plus 5,000. Searles, he loved this at 6,500. Bill Doleman, you come in at plus 7,500. Mr. Runza comes in at plus 10,000. And so, A, what's your reaction to where you're on this list? B, the other air quote real list in pencil. And yes, your name's on here too. Ed Stewart, Jamie Pollard, Garth Glissman, Jeremiah Dickey, Mac Rhodes. I want you to get to that list first. I want your reaction to this list you're on, though.
Well, here's the deal. I've been lobbying for that job since my junior year of college. Okay. And I have freely admitted that I may have taken the wrong career path, although my career path has gone very well. I should have been the athletic director at Nebraska. Tom would still be the coach. We'd still be running the option, and life would have been great for the last 20 or so years. So I take a lot of responsibility for that. But here's my pitch. You give me the job, I'm going to take it for less than what Trev was making initially, okay? And I will hire all of the other guys that are on that list with me. Now, John Cook's already there, but I'll let him handpick his successor, which I think we're all thinking he's probably wanting to do that fairly soon, okay? So John can handpick his successor like Terry Pettit did. Ndamukong Suh can pretty much build the weight room anywhere he wants to on campus. Another one, if he wants, put his name anywhere on the building.
Ndamukong Suh will be
only thing sacred would be to continue to call it Memorial Stadium. But I'm willing to slap that stadium around looking like a NASCAR on the inside. But all those guys on the list with me, including Larry the Cable Guy, all on board, and they can make more money than me. All right. So that's my pitch and my pledge to the University of Nebraska. I mean, I've proven I work for swag. So I don't see why that would be different.
Yes, you do.
Work for swag? Is that what I heard?
Yeah, work for swag.
Dude, if it wasn't for NBC Sports, I wouldn't have clothes in my closet.
The whole Olympics thing. Yes.
Welcome to broadcasting.
Media food, free gear. Sweet.
and a guy who will take less than half of what the last guy was making.
Bill, all right, let's get your reaction to some names. Ed Stewart, Jamie Pollard, Garth Glissman, Jeremiah Dickey, Mac Rhodes. Who do you think Nebraska targets first?
Well, I certainly hope at this stage that they target somebody that Matt Rule is going to be comfortable with, and I think Matt Rule has earned that in the 16 months or so that he's been in Nebraska. I think he has done a great job, as I've said many times, of endearing himself to Nebraska, and I think Nebraska has endeared itself to him. I think that there is a very Devaney-esque like relationship if you go back to 1962, right? So I think Matt Rule has done a lot to have earned already in a short period of time who his next boss is going to be. So is that Mac Rhodes down at Baylor, who has done a tremendous job? And Matt Rule gets a lot of credit for riding that ship in the wake of all that was going on down at Baylor, all those controversies. Mac Rhodes is part of that too, and they've gone positive direction since then. Now, Jeremiah Dickey, clearly that's a guy that worked hand in hand with Matt Rule for Mac Rhodes, running that football program and doing quite well. He's gone on to I guess he's the AD at Boise State, and he's a Texas guy. So I suppose that's, for him, I don't know if that's a long-term thing. Who else was on there? Jamie Pollard. Did you mention him?
Jamie Pollard. That was the name that was, I think, coveted by some in power in the state of Nebraska, along with Trev. I mean, I think the three guys when Trev got hired that were vying for it, aside from Bill Doleman, Jamie Pollard, Garth Glissman, and Trev Alberts, Trev ended up winning out.
Well, look, and I cannot say enough nice things about Garth Glissman, who's just one of the most wonderful people. He is Nebraskan through and through. So that stands alone. He stands alone in head and heart, right? But Jamie Pollard. Here's the deal. Here's a guy who's had a couple of health scares in the last decade. One, a heart attack, and then he had testicular cancer just a couple of years ago. He survived and thrived both of them. He's in his later 50s. Does he want one more challenge in his career? And you're at a school like Iowa State. And as much as the Big 12 continues to fight and stay, and I don't want to say relevant because it is relevant, but to try and stay in that conversation, or at least at the table with the Big 10 and the SEC, it's really tough. And I think the news this week came down that the college football playoff is going to pay 29% to the Big 10, 29% to the SEC. The ACC, because it has one more team right now, is like at 17% of the revenue, and the Big 12, I think, is 15% of the revenue. So almost half of the amount of money out of the CFP and the billions of dollars the networks are going to pay for that. The Big 12 is slipping further and further back, and what they're going to have to do is probably go raid the ACC. And if the ACC goes away, then that just means it's going to be more money. It's not like the 17% of the ACC is going to just shift over to the Big 12. No, they're going to split that pie, and it's going to go to the Big 2, and the Big 12 is going to get Louisville and maybe Clemson, Florida State, Miami, and it's going to look better, but it's still not the big players at the table. So if you're Iowa State, You're thinking, I'm fighting to stay relevant in my own state next to Iowa, right? And I've got Nebraska on the other side. Maybe it is time, one last go around to where I'm going to be at the table with the big dollars, the big poker chips, and I want to play that game in a conference that I know, because I think he's a Barry Alvarez guy. So maybe there's something to that. I don't know. He's been at Iowa State a long time, so good on him for his loyalty there.
Bill, as we just discussed candidates here, let's talk about the process as a whole. Is there a correct balance in your mind between moving quickly without rushing? Do you worry about this process moving too quickly? Does it need to be quick? What's your take on the timeline here?
I think that there might be there might be an inclination by some of the people in power, and whether they belong in power or whether they belong in the business, I don't know. But I think that there might be a knee-jerk reaction. Now, you would think that 7 months down the road, since Ted Carter said, "Hey, I'm going to go to Ohio State," that ball has been rolling, right? You would hope, and that they would be close. Now, I don't hear very many candidates other than two that are somewhat internal. One who has the interim tag, and I didn't think that there was going to be an interim, nor did I think the guy who is the interim wanted to be the interim. And then I didn't think the guy who's the interim who didn't want to be the interim wanted to be a candidate for the top job. But so I would be afraid that unless they were ready to name a president here in the last couple of weeks and they were just a formality, I would hate for that to be a knee-jerk reaction. And then the same thing with, I guess, an athletic director, unless you're going to give Matt Rule all the power and say, who do you want?
Bill, let's talk about the money and the new contract. ESPN ponying up $1.3 billion, and it's been rubber stamped for the playoff to expand from 12 to 14. What conference is in most danger? Do you think it is the ACC that dissolves? Because I think you're going to get to 24 if you're the SEC and the Big Ten, and I think the Big Ten will probably finally try and get Notre Dame. Notre Dame's a part of this $1.3 billion as well. They get the seat at the table. But you have North Carolina that's there. I look at two schools that are pretty prestigious, at least to get into, and not cheap to send a kid to. Kansas and Colorado. Do they end up absorbed? Do they have enough cachet? The program does, I know, for basketball in Kansas. Utah, do they bounce out of the Big 12 and end up in the Big 10 as part of the West or the old Pac-12? And then with the ACC, you got to figure out your big dogs in the ACC end up in the SEC. Is that how this thing breaks apart?
Or they go to the Big 12 and think we really cannot afford in our culture, economy, and community to play at that level anymore. So we're satisfied in whatever the Big 12 becomes. Maybe the Big 12 becomes a 30-team or a 32-team conference on its own, and they play. You have the Power 2, you have the Big 12 with 24 or whatever teams. They just have their own championship. They absorb some of those, whatever the fake name group of five is, and just. Let's just tear it up like that. Let's just have the two big conferences with, as I said, 20 years ago, 64 teams. Maybe it's 48. And then the Big 12, they just start saying, you know what, this is getting crazy. We just want to get back to the sort of mission of big college football business. We want to have academic institutions and just operate without all of the pressure that is being applied to all these schools that want to take their ball and play with it differently than everybody else. But yeah, if there are some schools like Utah that want to stomach it, I don't know if Colorado academically has the stomach to see their athletic department invest, however much it's going to take to go play in whatever the Big Ten is. And, oh, by the way, there was saber rattlings a couple of weeks ago that team in College Station wanted to be in the Big Ten because they didn't want to be in the SEC with Texas. How about that? What if Trev's next move with Texas A&M is to move the Aggies into the Big Ten, and maybe that's why they brought him.
Secret agent Trev
Alberts.
It's secret agent Trev Alberts going down there to get Texas A&M to the Big Ten, and then with that under his belt, maybe in line for the next Big Ten commissioner. Look at that.
That was out there a couple of weeks ago, and it reminded me of when Missouri said in 2010 or 2009, we're going to go to the Big Ten. Everybody thought, okay, yeah, well, whatever. And they thought they were going to go, and they didn't. And so here is Texas A&M saying, if we're asked, we can go to the Big Ten, and we got a guy on board now that can maybe get us in there so we don't have to compete with Texas anymore. How about that?
Well, let's see if it happens. I know they aren't friendly with Bevo. What happens tonight with Nebraska-Indiana? The task at hand for the Big Red.
Well, I certainly probably would have wanted to play Penn State for its third game in 3 days. That was a scrappy game last night between those two, 61-59. Not a pretty game, but a good March Madness game and a good finish if you're Indiana. They're on high. There's no doubt about it. And it's interesting when you take a look at the statistics from the two matchups between Nebraska and Indiana. Indiana, in a lot of categories, shot the ball better or as well as Nebraska. And you can't believe Nebraska beat them by an average of 15.5 points. Nebraska shot, 27 more threes in the two games than did Indiana and made 13 more. Nebraska is going to rely on that. Indiana is going to try and take away the perimeter. But I don't like Nebraska having so much time off, but I don't think time off affects style of play when it comes to Josiah Alec, Sam Hoiberg. I think Jawan Gary is going to be motivated defensively. Hustle and effort doesn't have to take a day off. Shooting might be kind of cold early, but you can come out hot, and they forced 15. They had 15 steals and 19 turnovers in their first game. So I think effort early will keep Nebraska in it and may pay big dividends late.
Bill, we will check in this weekend. When are you back in Nebraska?
I may try to make my way back in the next 2-3 months.
Okay.
As long as the sun is shining, or maybe this weekend.
All right.
Well, it depends when that job interview is, right?
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, they called me. I'm ready to go.
That's why I asked him, when are you coming back to Nebraska? I need that interview.
Happy to clip on a tie and talk whenever they need me to.
Damn glad to meet you. That's Bill Doleman. Bill, appreciate you, bud.
See you guys. Go Big Red.
Where's the perfect place to go for lunch every day?
Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill.
Where can you watch all of your favorite college and professional sports all season long?
Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill.
Who's got family-friendly entertainment all throughout the week, including trivia, music bingo, and live music every Friday?
Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill.
Hurrdat Sports Bar in La Vista is the spot for lunch, date night, corporate events, or even a late-night cocktail. A one-of-a-kind spot for sports fans and more. Behind Cabela's in La Vista.
Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. Outdoor enthusiasts, AC Nelson will be at the Husker Lawn and Leisure Show this weekend at the new Sand Hills Global Events Center. Explore a variety of new travel trailers with payments starting at $149 a month up to $349. That's with no money down and no payments till summer. Plus, for this show only, receive exclusive factory rebate vouchers. Start your vacations tomorrow without breaking the bank. See AC Nelson RV World at the Husker Lawn and Leisure Show this weekend. WAC.
Give the star in your life the brightest gift in the world. Name a star after them. This is Rocky Moselle with International Star Registry. For $59 and a call to 800-282-3333 or visit starregistry.com, you can name a star for birthdays, weddings, or even memorials. Over 45 years, we have named millions of stars for celebrities and individuals from around the world. The star you name will be recorded in book form in the U.S. Copyright Office. Visit starregistry.com or call 800-282-3333.
Paid for by government.com.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s, and less than 50 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-560-6468, and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history victory you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-560-6468. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-560-6468 now to secure your $10 Gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-560-6468.
Hey, Outdoor Nation, the fish are chirping and the birds are biting, and that means it's springtime here in Nebraska's great outdoors.
And we're here to help get you outdoors with the experts from the Nebraska Game and Parks every Saturday morning at 9:45 on KFOR.
Quality and affordability on your next window and door project is what you can expect when working with Pella of Omaha.
And now,
back to Hail Varsity Radio.
Back here at Longwell's Road Show Friday, Hail Varsity getting geared up for Nebraska-Indiana. Weekend edition tomorrow morning at 7:45. Recapping how Nebraska-Indiana shakes out. Hopefully a semifinal match to talk about for Nebraska as they wait on Illinois and Ohio State. Chris Schmidt, Elijah Herbel will check in with the infamous Clauseborne. He will have commentary on Trev's departure to Aggieland. Plus, we'll have our steak and a beer pick for Nebraska and Indiana. Reminder to get buckled up. Use your seatbelt. It saves lives. It prevents injuries only if properly worn. Make it click. A message from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Elijah in studio. Reminder, watch party if you're in the Lincoln area. Commences at Longwell's 6 to 8, and then tip-off for Nebraska and Indiana. Husker baseball in action today as well at Haymarket Park, just across the bridge. We're right next to PBA here at Longwell's. We welcome in Connor Clark as he is putting an exclamation point on his senior season at the University of Nebraska before he graduates in May. And we go live. Unfortunately, not video, but it is on the phone. Connor Clark has put his beer down to join us and give us a report on his spring break happenings. Connor, let's paint the picture here, sort of, and tastefully. How has spring break been for you this week? What have you been up to?
It's been good. A lot of beach, which has been nice. A lot of relaxing. Honestly, nothing crazy, but just kind of checking out the new spots out here. I'm in Galveston, Texas right now. So going out to dinner a couple places downtown, going to a couple of beachfront places, and just kind of chilling and taking in the nice weather. So it's been good.
Tell me, Connor, quick trivia question for you here. Which notable Husker basketball player calls Galveston, Texas home? Schmidt's got it whenever you give up. It's a guy that was a little bit before your time.
How recent is it?
A guy that's a little bit before your time.
NCAA tournament.
Yep.
Oh, gosh. I'm not going to get this. I'm just going to throw a wild guess down and say Teron Petaway.
Yes.
Yes, it's Petaway.
Wow, really?
Yeah, it's Petaway, and his best friend was Mike Evans.
They played football and basketball together down in Galveston growing up.
Not quite Jason Williams, Randy Moss, but we'll take it. You know, so how many beers have you crushed? Have you kept count? Can you start your own recycling center?
I probably could. I'm not going to give you a number because I can't. But today has been a little chill, so we got to get out of here at like 4 a.m. tomorrow morning to catch a flight in Houston. So kind of a not the most ideal travel situation leaving, but it's been fun regardless.
Well, do you know how you make that 4 a.m. trip to Houston easier? You just don't go to sleep tonight, Connor. That's what you do.
Well, depending on what happens in Minneapolis tonight, that may be in the cards. So who knows?
Connor, your thoughts on Nebraska, Indiana? I know you're keeping an eye on it, and we'll be watching. Northwestern got bounced today a third time by Wisconsin. Illinois tips off here in mere moments against Ohio State. You feeling good about Nebraska tonight?
Yeah, I think so. I think it'll be a good game just because it's March and Big Ten tournament, so you really never know what's going to happen. Indiana's probably feeling pretty good after a tight win against the Penn State team that gave them a lot of trouble yesterday. But anytime you play a team 3 times, and you know that old saying, you don't want to play a team 3 times. It's mostly in football, but in basketball, the familiarity is there for both squads. Obviously, Nebraska's gotten the best of Indiana by 15 and 16 points, respectively, for the other 2 matchups that they've had. So I think Nebraska wins tonight just solely on the matchup of styles of play. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Indiana does not shoot the 3 ball or the free throw very well. They're towards the bottom of the conference. And Nebraska doesn't give up a lot of inside stuff. Khalil Ware is going to get doubled a lot tonight, and they're going to have to shoot a lot of threes in order to beat Nebraska. They heated up a little bit out at Assembly Hall in their second meeting of the regular season, but it's not really a team in Indiana where they start making a barrage of threes and all of a sudden the defense doesn't know what to do with themselves. So I think the matchup of styles favors Nebraska, and I think the overall personnel on the team also favors Nebraska, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is a game that comes down to the wire, just given the circumstance.
Connor, is this a game in your mind that Ware has to be the dude for Indiana? I mean, he's been the dude for Indiana for a lot of this season, but it feels like a game where he's the only guy I think that can truly give Nebraska fits tonight. Is that fair? Well, what's your take on what type of game he has to have should Indiana get the victory tonight?
Yeah, I think Khalil Ware is just going to do his thing, and you mentioned it. I mean, he's kind of been the guy for Indiana all season long, and he's just a really tough guard. He's so long. He's very athletic. He can run the rim very, very well. He's just a tough guard. And outside of him, I mean, Mackenzie Mbako had a really nice game last time these 2 teams met. He had 22 points, I believe, which led the Hoosiers. So he's a guy to look out for. But another guy that I think really needs to step up here tonight for Indiana is Trey Galloway. He only had 8 points against Nebraska last time out. He's a veteran guy. He's struggled this year, but I think in a moment like this, he's going to have to be the guy that's your third scorer here tonight. Obviously, Malik Renew is also pretty good on Indiana, but you need that veteran presence in your lineup 1 through 5. So I want to see more out of Trey Galloway here tonight if you're an Indiana fan.
And Connor, to flip it around, we've talked plenty this season about the Husker roulette of guys that could step up. Obviously, it's going to be that same story tonight. The question being who does step up. In your mind, who do you think has the best potential for being that guy that can step up and lead Nebraska to a victory tonight?
I mean, the obvious answer is Keisei Tominaga because just the heater that he's been on and played really, really well against Michigan. But another guy that has been a mainstay in that kind of category of an impact guy is Juwan Gary. And I think he's going to have a big game tonight because I think the matchup favors him. Obviously, he's one of the better defenders in the league. I can't believe he was left off the all-defensive team in the Big Ten, but that can be a conversation for another day. But I think he's going to be a guy who's going to have a huge impact on this game, not only defensively, but on the boards. He can fill it up from time to time if he's got that three-point shot going. He's going to be a really tough player to try and contain tonight. Obviously, you have your Bryce Williams, who will do his thing, Rick Mast, who has a pretty big offensive explosion every now and then. CJ Wilcher, would be nice to see him get back on track. I know we haven't seen that in a while, but I'm going to go with Juwan Gary to have a pretty large impact on this game tonight.
Connor Clark is joining us on spring break. He is down in Galveston, Texas. He has been beaching it. And since you're in Texas, have you bumped into Trev?
I have not, but I feel like I've seen a lot more Texas A&M gear ever since that news broke. Maybe I'm looking out for it more, but that was something that was not on my spring break bingo card when I woke up to that news about a day and a half ago.
What nobody's wasn't on the card. You're right. And so tell us about the clubs you've been frequenting, Connor. Just a sightseer's guide / tour from one Connor Clark before we say goodbye.
Well, there's a lot of good spots right on the water. I will say that. There's a pier that's kind of like a mini version of the Santa Monica Pier out in California. It's got roller coasters on it and stuff. So that adds to a nice little nightlife here, but just a couple of smaller spots on the water, kind of like your, classic tiki hut or whatever. And then downtown is where the more, I guess, fancier, for lack of a better word, places are. And there's a couple of ports. There's actually a cruise ship port here too. So there's a lot of touristy things kind of surrounding that area.
Connor, we talked before we left. My little sister was also making her way down to Galveston. Any Lily Herbel spottings while you were down there?
I don't believe so, but maybe I've seen her in passing and I just didn't realize. So I don't know. I'll have to keep my eyes peeled tonight.
Well, if she's at the places you're frequenting, I am concerned.
No trouble. You're not calling us on your one phone call from jail. You're doing okay on order-wise?
I can confirm that is not happening. I'm using my cell phone, even though the service down here is bad, but I am a free man so far.
Schmidt's dropped out here, Connor. He's going to be jumping back in, I am sure, momentarily. I have another thought for you. I have no idea where he's going. The lips are moving. Schmidt, we missed all of that. I've just been kind of filling here. You dropped out briefly. I will ask Connor a question that we threw around back in hour one. You dropped out again, Schmidt. Another question is Illinois, Ohio State. That's the game that is before Nebraska and Indiana tonight. Which of those two teams would you rather see in a potential semifinal?
That's a good question. I think that's going to be a fantastic game just because of how much Ohio State has to play for and the way that they've been playing. They've been a very quality team, really, ever since they fired Chris Holtman, who is now a DePaul Blue Demon, which I'm very happy about. But that's another conversation. But I think I would rather still see Ohio State. Illinois is just really, really good, really, really fundamentally sound. And I think they're going to give the Buckeyes all they can handle tonight. I think the game will go down to the wire as well, but I got Illinois winning that game. But if I'm a Husker fan, I'd rather see Ohio State in that next round. I just have a little bit more confidence that Nebraska can beat them because, A, they've already done it in the regular season. I know it was at home. And, B, they probably should have done it on the road. I know you could say the same thing about Illinois, but I don't want to see the Fighting Illini again if you're a Husker fan.
Connor, Elijah, am I back? I reset. We good?
Yeah, we got you now.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Yes, wonderful. Connor, behave, enjoy. We'll check in next week. Thanks for taking time down on spring break.
Of course, guys. Thanks for having me. Enjoy the game tonight.
There he is, Connor Clark with us on spring break. Where did you end up going? Did you get to go anywhere on spring break?
I went to Oxford, Mississippi a couple times. That's about it. So never got too crazy. I'm not sure where all these students find their money to go to like Miami Beach or and whatnot. I'll leave it at that. For me,
did you ever go to a formal down in Oxford, Mississippi?
Yeah, and you could hear all about it on the Average Joe Sports Show. How did Elijah Herbel almost get in a fight on the dance floor at a formal at Ole Miss? That and a whole lot more
formal
on the newest Average Joe Sports Show. So check that one out.
That's pretty good. That is pretty good. Some guy named Tony Montaigne.
It was Brennan, actually. Shout out to Brennan.
was ticked off.
Not Black Hills Brennan.
No. Was ticked off at Elijah dancing with his date. So Clauseborne is set to go. He will have reaction and commentary, plenty of humor mixed in with the Friday forecast. We'll get Clauseborne's declaration here in a little bit. Then we'll have our steak and a beer pick, Nebraska-Indiana. Down here at Longwell's, a Friday. It's Hail Varsity, powered by Cornhead Lager. Back Monday on KFOR, Schmidt and Carroll.
Both presumptive presidential candidates on the campaign trail. I check on the status of TikTok and an update on the Putin election.
The Huskers are dancing. Where are they headed? Talk to you at 6 on KFOR.
After your car has been towed to the shop is not the best time to start shopping for a vehicle. Likewise, the best time to talk about funeral pre-planning is well before the need arises. You want to be assured that your wishes are followed and you get what's right for you and your family. If we can assist you and your family with these discussions, we would be happy to do so. Give us a call and we can plan a time for a short visit. Butheris, Mason & Love at 40th and A Street, 402-488-0934. Recommended by family and friends.
Save big money on your next painting project at Menards. Freshen up your home with a grand finish with Pittsburgh Grand Distinction Interior Paint. You'll save time on your projects because it's a premium paint and primer in one with high hiding coverage and long-lasting color. Pittsburgh Grand Distinction comes in over 700 one-coat colors. Explore all the color options in store and on Menards.com. And check out more of our great deals going on now at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Where's the perfect place to go for lunch every day?
Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill.
Where can you watch all of your favorite college and professional sports all season long?
Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill.
Who's got family-friendly entertainment all throughout the week, including trivia, music bingo, and live music every Friday?
Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill.
Hurrdat Sports Bar in La Vista is the spot for lunch, date night, corporate events, or even a late-night cocktail. A one-of-a-kind spot for sports fans and more. Behind Cabela's in La Vista.
Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill.
Hi, David Brooks here, inviting you to join me this Saturday morning at 11 a.m. for the Retire Smart Radio Show, where we'll provide you answers to your most pressing retirement questions and help you navigate these uncertain financial times. Don't just retire, retire smart. This Saturday morning, 11 a.m.
Smart Wealth LLC is a federally registered investment advisor under the Investment Advisors Act of 1940 and an affiliate of Retire Smart. Registration as an investment advisor does not imply a certain level of skill or training. Information about Smart Wealth LLC can be found by visiting advisorinfo.sec.gov and searching by the advisor's name.
Nothing slows my little girl down, except a stuffy nose. Mommy. That's why I use Sinex Children's Saline from Vicks. Sinex instantly clears mucus in everyday stuffy little noses with a gentle, ultra-fine mist designed for kids. Just Sinex? Breathe. Her stuffy nose is gone for now. And so is she.
Sinex Children's Saline. Sinex, breathe. Use as directed, keep out of reach of children.
Your home for Kansas City Chiefs football, Lincoln Salt Dogs baseball, and local.
And now,
back to Hail Varsity Radio.
Thanks for hanging out at Hail Varsity. We're powered by Cornhead Lager down here at Long Wells. Again, a watch party commences. Festivities get rocking at 6. Nebraska, Indiana tip at 8. Illinois, Ohio State. Buckeyes lead by 3. About 5.5 gone by in this quarterfinal contest. I think it's quarterfinals. I don't know.
Yes, confirmed
Thank
quarterfinals. They should say up in the top right of the screen.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, there.
I just need, and listen, that's bad on my end. There's 3 Jumbotron screens here at Longwells you need to check out if you haven't, as we're excited to be down here on a Friday road show. It is that time for the Friday forecast. He's imaginary. He wears red. Clauseborne joins us to pick Nebraska and Indiana. We'll get to that in a moment, but first, some commentary from a concerned Husker fan on the week's events. Claus, how are you doing? Thanks for the time.
Well, I'm doing all right. I wanted to give you guys some compliments. You know, usually on this program in this segment, I take little jabs, much like whichever Paul brother is fighting Mike Tyson is going to be doing at Jerry's World. But I happened across the end of the Class A State Basketball Championship radio broadcast on your Lincoln affiliate. And as you guys know, unless I'm on your weekday show, I'm probably not listening. So to hear you guys actually doing a broadcast, it was really quite nice. And I thought you did a good job. And I won't do it again, but I thought for a one-time thing, it was pretty good.
I'm waiting for a punchline, Claus. Are you actually being nice?
He's being nice, but he said he won't do it again. So wasn't nice enough.
I don't want to ruin that one nice moment because Lord knows how well you do without such a good matchup. So,
yeah.
I knew that was coming.
Bell West and Millard North 5 times. The rubber match. It was good. We appreciate you listening, Claus. So, how have you dealt with? Processed Trev to Texas A&M. I'm sure you have a thought. It was a bombshell for the state. Many of the state Husker constituency not happy, and the search is on?
Well, obviously, I was quite shocked by the news, and if Trev is to be believed, and why would you? He was shocked by the news as well. But the more I've thought about it, the more I can sort of understand. Of course, you want to go someplace and be someplace with a lot of prestige and feels like a move up. I mean, obviously, Christopher, if ESPN or Fox Sports or someone called you and wanted you to move up, you'd probably do that. But they're trying to keep their ratings up, so you are where you are.
Amen.
That was good.
But in Trev's case, I really can't fault him. Plus, I think if you look back over the history, it is pretty easy to just sort of fall into things like that. I mean, that's how Heaven's Gate got their members. That's how Jim Jones got his people, and that's how folks end up going to BYU. These folks can be quite convincing in their theology. So I understand if they come knocking at your door on a Saturday morning and you're not quite prepared, they'll either hand you a copy of the Watchtower or they'll make you do some yells and a big white thing of coveralls. So I can't really blame Trev for being mesmerized by it.
I did not have comparing Texas A&M to Heaven's Gate on my bingo card today.
You have not seen the Colt commentary on A&M?
I have, but Heaven's Gate's another step.
Well, Claus, you don't have any of those white Aggie Yale uniforms in your closet, do you?
No, see, I'm a fellow who likes the ladies, so no.
we needed to pull the commentary from Coach Leach, the Pirate, the late great, when he was telling us about playing dress up and soldier one time on the Hale Varsity radio show when I asked him about A&M. So, listen.
Well, the Aggie, the Yell leaders, they do that really weird cheer where it looks like they're grabbing their groin. And, well, that's kind of fitting because, frankly, I think that's how all Husker fans feel right now after watching Trev leave his quote-unquote dream job to go to Texas. And, frankly, anybody who leaves Nebraska for Texas, well, there ain't much to say for him.
That is Clauseborne, his reaction. Hale Varsity, powered by Cornhead Lager. We're down here at Longwells. Claus, give me your one pick, your name for the next AD.
Well, the more I've read about it, the more I think the guy that we've got in the interim role might be pretty good. Dennis LeBlanc is his name, and I thought he was great as Joey on Friends, or that guy who plays in the film where the monkey also plays third base for the minor league baseball team. That's, I believe, called Ed, or as Elijah calls it, his Citizen Kane. So he might be pretty good. But also there's a fella who used to be on this particular program who I believe I've brought Christmas gifts to on an occasion and broken bread with, a fella named Garth Glissman, who might be a pretty good pick. And plus, it'd be good to get one from the SEC in trade. So that'd be one I'd keep my eye on as a sleeper.
Love it. Let's get to our picks. Nebraska, let's figure out what happens tonight a little bit after 8. Big Red and Indiana, Nebraska minus 3.5. I don't feel good about Nebraska and going 3-0 against Indiana. Indiana still fighting for postseason life, much like Ohio State. And I just think Nebraska just is a little bit rusty with the time off. Give me Indiana 74, Nebraska 69. Indiana with the upset. Sue me. Elijah, what do you say?
I'm going to try to sneak this in before I sneeze here. Allergies have been really kicking my ass here this week. I can feel one coming on. I'm glad Schmidt picked Indiana to lead off. That's always the curse. Schmidt has done well. He has picked Indiana. That gives me the power to pick Nebraska. I will be right. I think Nebraska maybe keeps it a little closer than you think it should be in the first half. I think they flex their muscle in the second half. I think it's a 14-point win and cover for Nebraska, 74-60.
All right, time-wise, we're up against it, or do we have time
for Claus?
Claus, what happens tonight, Nebraska or Indiana?
Well, I sort of agree with you, Christopher. You know, I don't like to bet against Nebraska, but I think there are a lot of distractions. Obviously, Trev leaving, and of course, all of the leadership issues on the university level sort of being laid bare by not only the media, but the governor himself. And of course, the biggest distraction of all, when you play Indiana, trying to figure out what the hell a Hoosier is. So it may be a little bit difficult, but I think the boys will rally. It'll be a close game, and we'll pull it out in the end. Nebraska 72 and Indiana 69.
Nice.
Claus says Nebraska no cover. As the line at 3.5 right now, but I like it. Claus, you behave yourself. Take care, and we'll check in for some madness next week. How's that sound?
Okay.
There he goes. He's imaginary. He wears red. It is Clauseborne. We'll wind down here from Longwell's Hail Varsity, powered by Cornhead Lager.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Babbel. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at babbel.com/TNC.
My new
By
exercise
texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Babbel. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at babbel.com/TNC.
My new exercise bike.
To receive recurring automated marketing messages from Babbel. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at
Listen Saturday mornings to Start Moving with Rich Rodenberg from Coldwell Banker NHS Real Estate. He'll have all the hints to guide you through the process of buying or selling a home smoothly. Start Moving every Saturday morning at 9:30 right here on KFOR.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Hey, couch potatoes. Want to slim down without a lot of work? With Limitless Male new weight loss treatment, you lose the weight without special diets or strenuous exercise. Our life-changing semaglutide weight loss peptide is FDA approved. You won't be hungry. Curb your appetite and get back to your fighting weight. Lose as much as 15% body fat over 28 weeks. Say goodbye belly fat. Schedule your free consult at limitlessmale.com.
Olivia from Washington. Laid off and trying to keep our little kids from realizing that mommy and daddy haven't eaten in a while.
Roger from California. I'm grateful we could afford our son's surgery. I'm nervous that now we can't really afford food.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Donna from Louisiana. The storm just hit, and we went from donating to the food bank to needing it.
Keisha from South Carolina. I've been skipping meals so my 2 kids can eat, but filling up on water doesn't really work. Hunger is.
And now, back to Hail Varsity Radio.
Reminder, weekend edition back tomorrow, 7:45. Myself, Mark Cranack, Elijah Herbel will get through the week, react to Nebraska-Indiana. Watch party is going on here at Longwell's in the rail yard next to PBA. And Will Wilson, Bill Hooks, the morning hookup fellas, going to be live down here 6 to 8. Come by, say hi, get a drink, get some grub. And just an incredible setup here with these 3 Jumbotron TVs for all the tournament stuff. NASCAR Eric has checked in and asks about another name, Brendan Stye. And Brendan, we've had part of the pipeline on from time to time over the years. Brendan's a great dude, super talented, and is somebody that is been a key fundraiser for Nebraska athletics for a lot of years, just big time. So that is a name to think about for sure. And I know he'd be somebody that could further Nebraska for sure. So, Elijah, you are gearing up for an engagement party with a pal, and then are we going to see the mustache of Lincoln down here in the rail yard later?
I hope so. That's the plan. I'd love to be down to Longwell. That is the plan as it stands right now. I think my arrival time should get me there maybe shortly after tip-off. That's how it stands right now. I think you're going to be hanging out. Bill Hooks, Will Wilson, the suit Rob Kelly, all hanging out down at Longwell. So that should be a good time. We've had plenty of good times down at Longwell's. I think back to years and years of NCAA tournament coverage we've done down there. Just a lot of fun at Longwell's all the time, and I'm hoping that it's going to be another fun one tonight. And for those out there like, man, that's a little too close to campus, you heard it from Connor Clark. The kids are still on spring break, so this is the time that the old people get to come in and dominate downtown Lincoln.
The newly minted 25-year-old elderly Elijah Herbel talking about the old people. But a reminder, next week for March Madness, the NCAA tournament, we will be in Omaha/Council Bluffs. So I want to see you out. We will be at the Gretna Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill location just off the highway. An incredible pizza kitchen in there, outdoor patio, fire pits. Weather should be tremendous for day one of the tournament. So we're out 4 to 6 next Thursday, Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill in Gretna. Come see us, get some Bang Bang sauce and smile. Then we are at Ameristar Sports Casino in Council Bluffs. Excited for that. Get your bets in with your friends at Ameristar, and that'll be outstanding. We're there 4 to 6 on Friday for day 2 of the tournament, day 1 of the Friday session. And, of course, just a hop, skip, and a jump across the river is where you have opening round action in Omaha. Where will Nebraska be with the NCAA tournament? Where are they sent? What's their seeding? Where does Coach Williams and the Husker women go? All things we will hammer out on Monday, and we'll react to Nebraska-Indiana tonight. Watch party here at Longwell's underway, and you're invited down. The good folks from the morning hookup, Bill Hooks, Will Wilson, here till 8 and beyond as we gear up for the Big Red and Indiana. Chance for Nebraska to keep on keeping on and maybe move that seed number up. Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, where you can download the podcast. We encourage you to do so. Give us a review. We'd appreciate it. Share with a buddy. And as always, watch on the Hail Varsity YouTube channel. Like and subscribe there. Appreciate you tuning in. Back at you mañana with Hail Varsity, powered by Cornhead Lager.